Welcome everyone to Brian's Action Figure Reviews, and welcome back to episode 23, not 22, of Retro Wrestle Chat. See, we had a little chat before we started here, and I was confused, and I was jumping back a week in time, and I thought it was 22. But Rich can count, so he said 23, so we'll believe him.
I'm half Chinese, that's why. Numbers are my friend.
I wasn't getting the stereotypes in there because I took shit for the last time. So, speaking of 22, last week there was firstly I'm going to go through the comments, right, and I'll leave Witchy then. So Boogie Bop, who said, I have to agree with Sippy Cup Tubbs. I really like this match, but we've been conditioned to the WWE style of street fights and Foley. If I'm not mistaken, this was also the first free pay-per-view on Channel 4. Tubbs and Rich might confirm this. With all this and Rose tinted glasses, this was a violent match with WWE standards and very enjoyable. Also, never let Rich do the intro again. He is unhinged.
Shut the fuck up. I will do whatever the fuck I want.
And I said, I replied back, I said, Rich just took control. I'll have to get the whip out next week. To which Booby Bop said, careful, Rich might enjoy it.
And that he fucking will.
I love all that kind of shit.
He's a freak shit. Martin O'Halloran gave us a suggestion for next week. He said, you guys got to review Hardy Boys versus Dudley Boys versus Edge and Christian, WrestleMania 17. So that's our match for next week. And Let's Survive Paddy Plays said, I'm torn on this one. I see Tubbs' point that the match got some great storytelling. But Rich's point, great storytelling isn't enough if you don't see the reality of it. You have a great horror movie with an amazing story, but if the effects suck, they pull you out of it.
It's not a movie.
Shut up, Tubbs. I would rate the match as about 6.5 because it was definitely flawed as hell. I think this is the first episode where I can physically see steam rising from Tubbs. So, guys, I'm not going to read out all the Facebook comments, but you guys got into it a little bit on Facebook. Do you want to get into it a bit here before we start?
HBK is a cunt and he sucks and he found Jesus, so fuck a cunt. His Bret Hart is far better. The end. So let's talk about the match, guys. So since this was your pick then, Tubbs, what was it? You want to tell us about it? What match you picked and why you picked this?
I'm just going to say I still think last week's match should have been fucking higher in the ratings. I'm going to stand to that, but we'll move on because that was episode 22, Brian, not episode 23. So we're going to go and this. Yeah, I picked Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes in AEW's Double or Nothing. The reason I picked this is because I remember seeing it a year ago and being utterly entertained by what I had watched. And I was very, very interested to see a year later would my eyes fall the same way. So yeah, so this one was very much, as I said, like I heard a lot of people, like when I was looking it up, were kind of said, there wasn't enough build going into it. So this match had 33 years worth of build. Do you know? There was. When you look at it, this match, this is what they went off of. They had the careers. There was enough in the match and everything else to kind of solidify certain characteristics that they were meant to play, or characters they did play in WWE and so on. So yeah, the match was built up on that. It was built up on both their legacies and their journeys and into the passing of Dusty Rhodes, and it became a brother versus brother feud that was kind of, you know, in a lot of ways, I think this was the match that we were promised in WWE that we never got. Do you know, it was that match we were supposed to get? It was Cody versus Goldust, but we ended up getting Stardust. Yeah, but it never happened at Mania. It happened at like a random, I can't even remember the pay-per-view. I think probably it was maybe it was probably a Payback or some shit like that. Correct me in the comments if you know. But yeah, so this match for me, when I'm looking at it, was the match we should have got maybe 10 years ago. But we finally got it, you know? Do you know what I mean? Because I think the match we did get was Stardust versus Goldust, which was I
think they just tagged together or something after.
No, they had a one-on-one. But it was to which?
I'm pretty sure they did not have like the one-off kind of thing because like they started getting frustrated with each other before they took the kind of before they broke up that band. They were getting frustrated with each other. And then they were just like cool. Then that's when I think Cody was just like, you know what, like fuck it, I'm taking my dad's advice. I'm not being happy and actually leaving WWE.
And that's what it was, man. It was the start. I think, going back looking over the history of it, I think it was the start of the Stardust gimmick that actually was the final push, because I think he wanted to go back to being Cody again. Just being his own kind of his own version, do that, and they just wanted him to be like the Goldust kind of counterpart. And I think that was the thing that made him leave initially and move on to kind of doing it. But I was so glad that we finally got the two of them in a match like that. I as a fan of both of them, I was kind of going, oh man, Jesus, this match should have happened 10 years previous, but we got it anyway. And hard to believe that Dustin Rhodes is 50 years old in this match.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're talking what this match 10 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
This match, I'll argue this. So
yeah.
if you want to argue right now on this channel, hey, fucking do it. 'Cause I can argue.
Yeah.
This match would have sucked 10 years ago.
Yeah, because WWE.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if we should,
not
say,
it's
like
not
we should have. No, I agree with you. Because in WWE, Rich, go on.
What?
Sorry,
go on. WWE, not at all. It is because of it would have still been under the name of Goldust, and his wrestling technique to his character would not have allowed him to do any of the cool shit that you got to see him do in this match. This is why this match would have been shit 10 years ago. You would have got him in a better fucking you'd have been in better health conditions. 10 years ago, and Cody's character wouldn't have been ready for this. This match would have sucked 10 years ago. This match had to happen when it happened. It was everything. The stars were aligned for this.
Yeah.
Stardust.
Oh, get out, Tubbs. Okay. I want to start on this because
the
entrances, in my view, were great. I love Cody's new music. It's still stuck in my head since early today, right?
Dude.
But the fucking stupid throne spot.
The throne, yeah.
Fuck off, right?
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to do it, I thought doing it firstly was stupid because the one thing I hated about TNA was whenever a new guy came in, I hate WWE because, etc., etc., etc. And my first time, I'd started watching AEW from the start, and I thought, oh, fuck's sake, they're all going to do this now as well. And Brody Lee did the very same as well when he came into AEW as well, but I thought it was really childish. But if he was going to do it, why didn't he just bring up the sledgehammer and smash it to bits? Why have this stupid fucking little gammy-looking explosion? And it just looks so cheap or something as well.
I think it's because the cheapness of how WWE can make shit look. I mean, so he was talking. I think it was a combination of being obviously Triple H's throne, and obviously the sled gets kept under the ring, which Triple H tends to do. Obviously, quite often, Stephanie would maybe hand him the fucking.
Yeah, it was total aping of that,
So but it's how cheap and gimmicky that WWE can make things. Instead of going that extra bit, Vince can be a cheap bastard and cut corners and stuff. And that's what I think, because don't get me wrong, I hated it. But I wonder if it was one of those things we're going to make it look cheap and stupid, because that's what WWE...
yeah.
No, but think about it. That's what WWE have done to the wrestlers. They made them look cheap, pathetic, and dumb. I.e., look at Cody Rhodes and Stardust.
Yeah.
It was cheap, stupid, tacky as fuck. Almost like what happened to the fucking throne. If you look at it that way, it makes sense.
I agree with you, man.
We'll never get a way of understanding to what they've done, because obviously this is still a new federation at that time, with there's no money isn't I mean, what was there, two owners? Well,
Tony Khan is bankrolling the whole lot. He's a billionaire, so there's no problem.
And you got an American football team and an actual, well, I guess
Jaguars, he owns it.
Team.
Football club.
But you ain't gonna put all your money straight away into this fucking show, because you've got fucking talent to pay. So is it that as well? But I do think it's because it was Cody who done it, and I think he would still be a bit bitter with a lot of things. And obviously the Stardust gimmick, when he went with it and stuff, his character, like I say, was cheap. It was stupid. everything, and it almost fits like this kind of like gimmick. So it would have been very interesting if it was Triple H who had came up with the Stardust gimmick. Hence why Cody was the one who did the whole throne.
But even Cody's theme song, the whole words of it are aimed at WWE. If you listen to it, like.
Oh yeah, I mean, and to go back to what you were saying a while ago, Brian, about that theme song, my God, that is such a good theme song. Mm-hmm. Like I heard it coming down, I was like, and I was listening to I was listening to the words of it, and I was like, geez, this is a really good fucking track, like. So I was already kind of pumped. I was going to go with this, but I agree with you. I think I agree with Rich. I think it was done purposely to look cheap and you know, just crappy. But I mean, and the whole commentary arc of the story was, you know, Cody was going to lay waste to the Attitude Era, and this was the last thing. His brother was the last kind of hurdle. But at the same time, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say. There might have been things attached. There might have been, you know, we did it to make it look this, to say goodbye to the Attitude Era. No, that was a fucking blatant fucking fire missile dig to WWE. And I've heard people say, no, they did it, you know, as a thing. I was like, no, they used the fucking throne and they used the sledgehammer. It was that was a thing.
Used fucking Triple H's sign on the fucking throne.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but didn't they soon after this pay-per-view go to Wednesday nights? Yeah, so I think this was like.
They were always Wednesday nights.
That's what I mean. So when they did that, this was like, you know, if someone was to ask you the time frame of the Wednesday night war, I'm assuming it was in and around this moment. Do you know?
So let's talk about the match a little bit. Do you want to start, Rich?
Before, because we're also on the intros. The start of fucking Dustin's fucking intro. Go Dust the fuck. Before the music in, did you boys notice that you're like gonna wait start? You're like, man, that's fucking like that's almost a nod to the Goldust character. That intro music, not the whole thing, but I think it was the first 5 seconds. I was a bit like, that is 100% like Goldust's intro.
Yeah, because going into this, I think there was maybe a reasoning behind that, because wasn't this supposed to be like obviously we knew what happened afterwards, but going into it, this was supposed to be like a one and done for Dustin.
Yeah,
this was like Philosophy retire type thing. So I think there was kind of, maybe that's what they did do. They tried to kind of start it like a Goldust type entrance and then kind of build it to the brand new. And to be fair, I did love his gimmick, like his whole setup, the half painted face, the whole lot. It was a really cool direction change, and to go back to the natural. So I went back to like, you know, he's like very first kind of gimmick was the natural Dustin Rhodes. You know, so it was like a full circle moment in a lot of ways.
And like, I know this wasn't a street fight, but I found this much more visceral and much more intense than last week's match, if I'm honest, because it felt realer. Whereas
this was Foley
and Triple H were like throwing shit at each other. It felt like for the sake of it at times. You know what I mean? Just to amp up the violence, as Vince McMahon would say, or something. But yeah, this one felt more natural and more, I don't know. I'd love to hump the head off my brother like this as well. Like, so I can agree.
Right. When I watched this, I was even saying, do you remember Rich was saying is, you know, like when we watch some matches, he was saying is, you know, if you're not like, if you're just coming into wrestling, you're a new fan and you're kind of like, and you show them a certain match, they'd probably go, what the fuck is this like, you know? This for me is a match you show someone. See, wrestling is not just moves, it's about storytelling, it's about emotion, it's getting something out of you. And I mean, I don't know if it is that for you, but I remember it when I watched it at Double or Nothing last year, and man, by the time I got to the end of this match, I remember I texted you, Brian. I was like, man, I'm so emotional right now, like, because I got drawn into it, you know, and that was like a first time watch last year when it was at the pay-per-view. But and that's what wrestling is, man, as well. Do you know what I mean? Wrestling's a core thing. It's like, we all know it's predetermined, and you know there's that, and it's predetermined. All right, but you know, we all know that. We all know it's like, you know, it's as to go back to Paddy's point in the comments, it's like a movie. You know, it's the same kind of setup, the whole lot. You know, so the storytelling has to be there. Yeah, it is. So if the storytelling is there, then you will be invested. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if there's botches or there's just slip ups or whatever else. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of factors in this, like, you know, we will talk about, I think.
So let's talk about it then. Let's
go. Let's get this fucking
match itself. The match.
Yeah.
Right. First thing I hated, fighting in the crowd. Again, just so half-arsed. Why? what's the point?
They didn't fight in the crowd, dude.
They did. They literally walked
Cody
through
went into the crowd.
Did he not have him
Cody
with him as well?
He got frustrated and went into the crowd and then walked back. Now I kind of scratched my head at that as well. I was like, why is he going into the crowd? And then he just came back out. Do you know what it was? It was the heel thing. You know, the heel gets frustrated and goes for a walk and comes back. That's what that was. But yeah, I agree with you. I was kind of scratching my head at that part. I was like, why is he in the crowd right now? And Dustin's in the ring.
The whole part at ringside was kind of cool. Like, you know, when he was threatening to throw him into the crowd, and then he slaps him off the mat, and he goes to the well too many times, and then Dustin comes off with this mad fucking bicycle kick thing.
As you say about that going to the well too many times, I will say one thing about this match: the commentators were on point for this match.
Oh, sometimes they get the fuck out of me.
No, but JR's normally, since he went to AEW, I'd be the first one to admit this. He can be hard to listen to. He genuinely can. But in this one, I found who was commentating with him?
Excalibur and Giovanni.
Excalibur. Any time I found in this match that JR went to kind of like started straying off, Excalibur pulled him right back in. I think that's what JR needs. I think that's what he's missing at the moment with Excalibur not being there, is someone to kind of rein him in. And I think that's
like me and you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because I just went off on a tangent there and you ran me back in. Next point.
From the commentary for me, I was fed up getting reminded that, like, of Cody was 50, that, like, they made him sound like he had not fucking wrestled in 10 years. Oh, like, Dustin hasn't wrestled in a long time. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? Like, we all know about the fucking contracts that they have to fucking deal with to get out of WWE, all this kind of shit. But they
fill that in though, Rich.
Yeah, they kept fucking. Oh, we ain't gonna get into that, man. We can have a fucking special shit. We can have a special fucking show when we talk about the bullshit of WWE contracts, fucking some other time. Not right now.
Not independent workers. Yeah.
They kept reminding us. They kept reminding like certain things, like how long it's been, and like, oh, this feud, it's been in the making for 33 years because that's how old Cody. I don't give a fuck how old he is. Do you know what I mean? All I need to know is that these guys are legit fucking brothers. Their dad fucking passed away. They're both fucking pissed off for all the fucking same reasons, and therefore they're fighting. Stop reminding me about their fucking ages, how long this fight should have fucking been. Shut the fuck up.
I'll be honest about it. Rich fucking more or less summed it up.
Yeah.
No. Rich summed it up right there. Do you know? They're fucking legit brothers. Their dad passed away and they're fucking pissed off about their directions have hit them to this point. That's a fucking perfect layout of it, man. And that's basically the story.
That's what we fucking said. That's all you need to say. But yet they fucking constantly reminded us of this shit. Hey, I fucking get it. I get it.
Do you know the worst fucking part about this, and it's to do with WWE as well, is they can't even say their fucking surname because WWE owned the fucking rights to it. Fucking scumbags.
It's fucking weird. They can't. Cody is like Cody, and then Dustin Rhodes. That's because that is his real name. Well, no, it's not. He owns the title.
He's Runnels as well.
Yeah, but he's running. So so explain this to me. How is Dustin Rhodes allowed to use the Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes is allowed to use the Rhodes, but Cody can't?
Maybe they just
because they probably trademarked Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
It would have been the full name because they had at the time they had no problem with Dustin or Brandy. It was Cody because Cody was a part of the fucking elite. And they were the one. And then you got to think of there, all the elite stuff, like the Too Sweet kind of stuff, all this stuff, and a lot of folk were turning up wearing Bullet Club tops to WWE. So
the cease and desist and stuff.
His wife and his brother weren't a part of that. It was just Cody. So obviously, like out of spitefulness, they did everything to piss them off because obviously they were doing a cease and desist of everything. There was so much shit that they were doing, and Cody was a part of it. So what do? You fucking start trademarking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes fucking sense.
Do it though, because what did we end up getting? The American fucking Nightmare. Great fucking character.
I like it.
You know,
I like Cody, man. I like him.
All they've done right is taken something they thought they could take away from someone, and he's taken it all and made it an advantage. And see now, this is the one way. This is how I describe Cody to WWE. To everyone watching this, you've all had one person that you've dated, and it's that one person who got away. You know what I mean? You always think, like, you wonder what if, like, that one person got away. You two boys do not agree to this comment I'm making because you are in a serious relationship. So if your missus watch it, it's gonna be very awkward being like, yeah, like, I know someone who got away.
No, I left mine in the shed. It was fine.
You are with yours. So you shut the fuck up. You smile and nod to that, right? I'm single as fuck. And
I just smile. Live
Rich, are you trying to tell us there's one that got away, basically?
All right. Man, this got emotional fast. Come on, tell us, man.
Cody Rhodes is the one that got away for them.
Yeah.
Dude, man, like, he hadn't even scraped his fucking potential yet at fucking in WWE. No, like, and the thing is, he hasn't even went to fucking full potential yet with this character. That's the scary part about fucking Cody right now, is he's nowhere near going. And he is
to your point, man.
What would say it's CM Punk? It's not Punk, it's Cody. That's got away.
And even looking at Dustin in this match, just in general, I mean, like, I'm not even saying in WWE, but I think, Jesus, man, look, I mean, you look how underrated he was in WWE. Like, Dustin Rhodes is such a fucking talented, like, as I said before, 50 years old in this match, and look at the stuff he's doing in this match. Do you know what I mean? And he's not a slow guy by any means either. Like, he's moving.
Like, what was that move that he did it next, not on the turnbuckle, but next to the turnbuckle?
I was going to use that for one of my best spots, though. Anyway.
Yeah, but once again, it's the red. Is it the
destroyer?
The red. No, it's. I heard someone call it a Canadian destroyer. It's like, it's not a Canadian destroyer.
It's like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's. Rey Mysterio does it as well.
Only reason I know he's 50 because, like, I got told about 50 million times during this match. But for a 50-year-old doing that move, I'm fucking impressed, right?
Yeah, man.
I'm 35.
Very much so.
I couldn't do that. Tubbs, I bet you couldn't do that in your wrestling days. Don't even tell me you can do it because you couldn't. Nah.
I have done it, dude.
I want to see a video of this. Get a video. And Brian, if you can edit up here or there, you know, somewhere on here so we can see.
I'll quickly explain, all right? The trick to that move is not me doing the move. It's the person taking the move. You are literally just...
Spoiler. You would be the worst magician ever. You're gonna fucking tell me how you.
Hey, man, I'm explaining it from a wrestler standpoint.
No industry secrets on this podcast, please.
Fuck industry secrets. Kayfabe's dead.
Right.
And ladies and gentlemen, children, this is why we know that wrestling is fake.
It's predetermined.
It's real to me, damn it.
All right, reel us in, Brian. Reel us in.
What's your worst moments of the match, guys?
Right. I have a worst moment. But this just shows the professionalism of a certain team. Let's get down to camera angles, shall we?
Here we go, camera angles again.
That should become a new show. Rich's right. Camera angles.
Angles and dangles with Rich.
So Dustin's like doing the kind of little fucking, like, you know, they kind of little kind of punch-ins there, right?
Yeah.
And like two or three of them, you see them not connecting so bad. What do the camera team do? They switch the fucking cameras, whole new angle, and holy shit, those punches look like they were fucking landing. That's what I'm talking about.
Another thing to your camera angle thing.
Go for it.
They kind of, in this match, recreated like an Austin 316 moment.
Yes! That's what they did. They were so fucking cool.
There was so much fucking blood.
Wait, welcome back to Rich's fucking brutal moment of the week. That face to turnbuckle. I know it was in the middle turnbuckle, and I know it's padded the fuck, but I'm sorry. That still looked fucking brutal. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, just the way, like, that was like, it wasn't even like a little trip. It was like full fucking force. Like, oh, and see what's also quite nice? Seeing Goldog do a bulldog. I don't see bulldogs happening in rings this much.
And it didn't even bother me that he didn't go down on his ass, man. I actually enjoyed the fact that he went down on one knee and bounced.
It was nice. You know what? Sometimes though, I think I've said it in some previous fucking I think it was probably like a Bret Hart match we're talking about, the Russian leg sweeps and stuff. Sometimes it's just nice to see some old classic moves fucking come out in a ring.
You want to know what? That is why I marked out so much for the pile driver last week. Mm-hmm. Because I was like, fuck yes, and go to your point on that old school moves. Do you know what I loved about this match? It had such an 80s wrestling feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, like a Dusty Rhodes Ric Flair or Sting Ric Flair type feel to a match. It was like a Starrcade feeling, pure
it had
80s.
a WCW feel to it, didn't it?
No. But yeah, no. Look. I wouldn't even say that. I'd say it was like, I mean, because WCW had its great moments as well before it fucking jumped the shark and all that. But I genuinely did watching this match. I was kind of going, this seems like a real 80s. But that seems to be Cody's gimmick in AEW. He's that old school mentality. He's that old school 80s type vibe wrestler in how he wrestles and stuff. But there was one thing he did.
His music is pretty 80s as well.
To which?
His music is pretty 80s as well.
That's what I mean, man. It just,
and
like, even when
the montage exercise video, you're gonna hear that while he's in the gym and shit working out.
I loved all that, man. I loved the build up, and I thought it didn't have to go over the top. It was just, you see the two sides getting ready for this build, ready for the match. But the thing I loved about it was the entrances it had that old school 80s feel to them as well. And what's Brian said? I mean, I did. I was watching it, man, and I was just going like, this it feels like an old school fight. And the one thing I did say when I watched it, Rich, was, because I remember last week, even though we weren't on the same page, I remember you were on it with the Blood and Triple H. We're like, why isn't it on things? And I was watching the match going, he's going to be very happy so this week, because the Blood is on everything.
Fucking everywhere.
It was everywhere.
This
Cody was fucking destroyed by the end of it.
This reminded me of the fucking like a Brood bloodbath.
Yeah. But did you see that you were saying at one point it was over by the corner? You know, it was in the fucking, I can't remember what fucking move it was, but they're over by the corner, and the camera was on the. It was over by the corner. It came in by the corner, looked to the ground, and you just see Dustin's head was down, and the blood was just dripping, puddles of it piling out his head. It was brutal.
I believe it's fucking brutal. Remember my
yeah, man.
Remember it?
Best moments. Tubbs.
I thought we talked about it.
Well, I asked you worst moments, and you went off on best moments.
I quickly shoot it off there.
My worst moment was the camera angle.
Oh, okay. Tubbs, what was your worst moment?
My worst spots moments in this match were the part where Cody went into the crowd. I didn't understand that. I kind of left me scratching my head for a second. It was why is he there? The throne at the start, I could have done without that. It didn't need it. He could have just went to the ring. I didn't need to have the throne, if I'm being honest. I knew what it was about, but I was kind of going, all right, it's just, you're just doing your weekly WWE dig here now, so let's get on with it. But there was I would say the Brandy stuff, but then again, I will say one thing. It annoyed me at the start. I was going to go, oh man, I hope now Brandy's not going to get involved in this whole fucking match, because I was trying to remember the match, and then Earl Hebner jumped out of the ring and immediately goes, get the fuck out of here. I was going, okay, he's doing his job, Rich has mentioned about referees, Joe, being a very vital part of the match. It showed in this match. He was like, get the fuck out. These guys have beef to squash. You're not needed here. And then, and DDP came out and ejected her. There was a lot of little tiny elements of story being played. So I was going, all right, that's cool. The story arc is going here, and we're back to the match. But my favourite spots, I might as well just jump back into it, was when they were trading blows and Gold.
Don't steal mine, motherfucker.
Dustin went to kick Cody, and Cody just grabbed his leg, pulled him down, and he was in the figure four within seconds. I was like, oh, that's such a cool, fast transition, man. And then, as I said, that adds to what I was saying to Rich about when Dustin turns it over and you get that Austin 316, like, epic blood moment. The corner move was fucking unbelievable. But one I will say, one that it looked like it could have went horribly wrong, but it looked horribly fucking delightful the way it was pulled off. They looked like they just killed each other. Was that superplex from the top rope? Dustin Rhodes put that one fucking foot and just catapulted Cody. I think I'd have to go back and look at it. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure I think they nearly took out our Hebner as well.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, and the crossroads they were so fucking good, man. Cody lays that move in so well. Like he buries him into it. But the ending for me was my favourite part of the whole match. I'm not gonna lie, boys. I don't give a fuck about the internet.
We'll come to that.
Yeah, okay, we get to it. But yeah, that's kind of
right?
what I want to talk about.
What was the fucking move? Like, I was watching, I was like, who the fuck set up who? It was almost like Dustin was putting Cody in an impaler, but then the next minute fucking Cody turns him round and it's got him on the fucking shoulders. I was like, what the fuck's happening?
He dropped him on his neck, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, man. Did you notice with that as well? I don't know if you noticed it. It looked like he genuinely tried to take most of the impact on himself, so he could land Dustin better.
So was that a reversal, or was fucking Cody setting him up for that?
No, that was one of his old finishers, man. It was like he started with the Alabama Slam, but I think it's Hurricane Helms used to do it as well. I can't remember the name of the move.
Cody joined WWE.
It's a horrendous move.
Mm. So
so when Cody joined, I stopped watching wrestling, in WWE. So when I was watching, I'm like, it looked like fucking Dustin was putting him in an impaler. But then the stuff was happening, I was like, is he getting reversed? I'm like, how the fuck are you getting reversed out of that impaler already? And I was so fucking confused what the fuck was happening there.
For me, my best moments were, like I said earlier, that spin kick thing that Dustin did on the apron when he was trying to throw him into the crowd. So he threw him up against it. And that thing out of the corner that's not a destroyer or whatever it is.
Yeah, if anyone in the comments can tell us the name of that move, because it's a fantastic fucking move. Just
one of my favorite things, and I don't care what you think of me thinking this, was when Cody was outside the ring and he looks at his hands and they're covered in blood. And he just goes,
loved it. I agree with you.
Sick fuck. He was loving it.
Because the whole concept, and I do agree with you, because I mean, this is what I mean about the storytelling aspect. Sometimes I know I'm always on about storytelling, but when it's storytelling is done like to the high standard, it makes you so much more invested, man. And with that little thing, like you said, but just looking at his hand, seeing what he's done to his own brother, and just like going like that, he's being the fucking heel. He's putting his wants before his brother's, fucking health at that point. He's just showing it like, I'm dastardly, fucking wipe it. So I'm wearing it like war paint, and I was going, that is fucking cool. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had forgotten to say that.
Yeah. And of course, you alluded to it there, but the aftermatch when Cody got the mic as well. Now, when I watched it the first time, it was pretty emotional. Yeah. I wasn't as emotional this time, but it did twinge me a little. It still did get me a small bit. What do you think, Rich?
Did you see the ending of it?
It was like live. See, the thing is, so right, I get like you guys going all emotional on that. See shit like this, I don't feel fucking no emotions for. It's like, join aside, me and Bryce had these conversations before, but it's like when the famous folk fucking die and everyone's all fucking doom and gloom, I'm like, oh, did you meet them? Did you know them personally? Kind of thing. And like, no, and I goes, well, why the fuck you sad? Kind of thing. Like, I don't have emotions for like, kind of things like that. Yeah, like I know like the storytelling alone can be fucking get long. Hey, it's fucking awesome. You have a fucking big battle, and no matter what, like fucking you're still blood no matter what, kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's fucking cool. Like the ending was perfect to like this kind of match. But like I get no fucking teary eye or anything like that. It was nice. I guess I just ain't no pussy like some.
Dude, I ain't gonna fucking lie. I teared up like a motherfucking first time I watched that bitch, man. I swear to God. What Brian will tell you though, man, when it comes to wrestling and story and just in movies in general, you've seen me do it, Brian. If I tunnel vision into something, man, then it ends up in here. I just become attached, and that's what happens when I watch something. And that was when, like I said, this is why I picked this match, because I really wanted to see, because I remember texting Brian after this match last year. And I got so emotional after it. I was like, geez, that was so fucking hit me right in the feels, man, But so I wanted to see, did it land the same? And I agree with Brian. It didn't hit me as much at the end, but I still loved the ending.
That's the thing. Knowing that the outcome of it now.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because you didn't know what was going to happen back then live. The first time happened. So you're obviously like. Me and you're very different. Like, yeah, I do appreciate a story. Yeah. But I think you're like fucking Alice. You go all the way down the fucking rabbit hole.
Oh, fucking hell, man. Yeah, I do. I have to admit that I do. Like,
I think I would probably be the middle of the two of you. Yeah. I don't always go down the rabbit hole.
I appreciate it. but like I just don't like. I'm not fully fucking emotionally when I watch it. Like my flatmate said today, is like I wish I could watch half the shit you watch, like all the B listed horrors and that. And I'm like, it's like I just can't pay attention. I'm like, oh dude, like when I watch it, I'm brain dead. You know what I mean? Like that's where I am. I'm completely fucking brain dead when I'm watching shit. Do you know what I mean? So like you just zone in. You're not emotionally fucking invested because at the end of the day, it's all fucking fake and bullshit. Kind of thing. Where like a person who like fucking Tubbs is like when he's watching shit, it's like a 4-year-old fucking Tublets fucking being, oh my god, it's real.
Oh no, it wouldn't be like that for me. But what it is
walked out from around the world. It's just this.
Like I've watched shit that's like really emotional, and I've been kind of like, okay, but then I watch like two fucking grown men in the ring covered in blood talking about their dead dad, and I'm kind of like, and I'm wailing because it's just I think it's just different things, man, like trigger you off, you know what I mean? And because I'm such a wrestling nut, I think wrestling's kind of like my jam. So if there's something emotionally fucking investing that I'm watching, which, let's be honest, we've spoke about it nowadays, which is rare. I think this is why this match last year kind of like hit me in the field so much, was because with the current state of wrestling as is outside of AEW, when I mean by WWE, up until AEW became a thing, there wasn't a ton of emotional like drama investing stories going on because they were dropping stories every few weeks, so we're moving on to new things, so you couldn't really get invested. And I found with this, I had spent years being invested in these two characters, so to see this match come to that end, and then and have that end, and it just I think that's what triggered the effect. Was like, oh Jesus, this is fucking cool.
The thing is, you'll never get an emotion feel like this for any wrestling story anytime soon. You're not going to get it.
I think this was a rare one. I genuinely do think this was a rare
without
moment.
crowds anyway.
Yeah, see, and it is. And I mean, and that's one thing when I look back at it, I was going, Jesus, yeah, man, fucking crowds. This was a fucking good, and the crowd were all in on this, like, because I think the crowd were like
the crowd were chanting, "This is awesome" before punches even thrown, and I'm always wary of that, if I'm honest. Because
no, do you know what it is? That's I mean, yeah, I mean, and it's this thing when like I had a moment, I'll be honest, right? I had a moment to myself when I was watching this match where the crowd started chanting at Dustin Rhodes. They were like, "You still got it?" No, I was like, "You still got it." I was like, "Still got it, motherfucker! Never lost it. Shut the fuck up." And I was like, because he is, as I said a while ago, to me anyway, he's always been very underrated. I always thought he should have been regarded much higher than he was, you know.
Right up, boys. It's the business end of this video. So we're going to get down to ratings. And I usually ask the two of you first. So I'm going to go first this time.
You go first, Brian.
I give this match 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Rich? No, you go.
No, I say Rich first.
Yes.
Give it an 8. Actually, no. Oh, you know what? I'll give it an 8.5.
Matching up.
I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Second.
Because I genuinely enjoyed this match. I really did. It still landed. Like as I said, the ending obviously didn't. It's like, as Rich said, it's like watching a film you've seen already. You know the ending, so it's not obviously not going to hit you the same the second time. But the match, I still really enjoyed this as much as I did the first time round. So
the thing is, right, this is a great match.
Yeah.
Solid, right? But it just didn't deserve that higher mark. That's the thing. I think there's a few cheap things. Like see, if you were, because what taken from the second they start coming at the Titantron to the Titan they leave, right? So if the intro was slightly amended and a few little nitpicks, like to me the commentary just need to fucking wrap in like the repetitiveness, you know, because the whole package works. You know, everything fucking counts to make this rating. This, I don't think it would have beaten the Okada Omega match, but God Almighty, it would have been a very close. Could have been very close. Like this, I put this up with the fucking Angle Lesnar match, were probably the two closest matches that we have reviewed that could have potentially taken first place.
And do you want to know something?
The Triple H, before you go for any further, the Triple H thing for me takes off a point straight away. It would be 9.5 other than that. That's my thinking.
The one thing I will say about this match, and I mean, as I said, I think it all goes down to, like we've said before, because Rich even said it earlier, was like we are very different in how we kind of view our content and our wrestling and what we watch matches for and things, because it is you love moves and storytelling, and like it's all different things. Every fan is a different thing. So for me watching this match, I have to say, as a fan of storytelling wrestling and the way I love being told a story as I watch the product, I actually enjoyed this more than the Omega Okada match from a storytelling aspect, because I was invested in this. Because remember, I've said when we watched the thing, I had to ask you what the story was going into that match. So, but the match quality gave me a 9.5 on that match because the match was so good. Do you know what I mean? But this one for me entertained me way more, because I was a lot more invested. I knew a lot more going into this match and everything else.
I think for the Okada Omega one though, if you'd watched, because obviously there's 3 matches, there's like a trilogy, you would have been fully like.
Yeah.
I think if I was to have made you watch both of you guys all 3 matches, that match could have potentially, if not the second match, would have scored him a perfect score, like a perfect 10 from all of it. But getting to the point though, like this match, it could have, like, it was the intros was the main thing that generally ruined this. It was nothing to generally do with the in-ring performance.
No.
As you look at things as a whole, it's not just down to like the talent in the ring. It's what's happening before, like after, during, outside it, kind of thing. I say the commentary was what it took. That took a fucking almost a point off for me. And then the intro, that's where it lost the points for me. If not, I would have been scoring this a lot higher. And me, boys, I really can score up high. This match could have done it.
Yeah.
So guys, next week we've got is it TLC or is it just a triple threat tag?
It's a triple threat TLC match, WrestleMania 17.
WrestleMania 17. So guys, drop comments, argue with us some more, because we had great fun arguing last week with Paddy, Boogie Bop, and all the boys. So thanks for watching, motherfuckers, and we shall see you next week. Goodbye. See you later, Tubbs. See you later, Rich. Bye.